and then put them away because we never knew if we were going to get raided on this because we were involved in civil rights movement. And so, it was a very tenuous time. And so, finally, we did come up with a solution, and the solution was to donate them to the Chicano Resource Center at UCLA, who thereafter got the Getty involved. The Getty got the Autry involved. And from what I understand, this exhibit's supposed to be here until next February or thereabouts, and then it's supposed to go to the Autry, to the Getty, I think, and then to New York. I'm not really sure. But the other thing and this is sort of a caveat, is that my wife and ourselves, when we got together with one other person, that was Joe Rosso, did not want photo credits. We did not want photo credits. We believed that these photos belong to the movement. They belong to the Chicano history. They belong to the Native American history. We didn't have the right to claim that they were ours. That's the way we felt. But I don't criticize people that want to say, look, that's my photo and I did this and that and the other. So you're not going to find a lot of photos in here. When you look them up with photo credits, you're going to say staff. And Pat, myself, and Joe Rosso all agreed that that's the way we wanted to have it reflected. And if somebody wanted a print, they can buy a print. I think they have to go through the UCLA Chicano Resource Center. And whatever money is generated from that, we don't even want to be a part of it. We want that money to go directly to the Chicano Resource Center. Again, we feel so close to this time and period in our lives, and it meant so much to us, that we don't see it as a, and I'm not putting any of the museums down, but we don't see it as an art exhibit. We see it as a reflection of a time when we really had to become involved in the movement. And this was probably the happiest time of my life, because I felt I had a purpose. As for myself, I kept on struggling. After this period with La Raza, and my wife will talk about more of that too, because she was actually there before I was. I became a law student, and right out of law school, I kept up with my organizing. And that's why I only applied to one law school, and that was Loyola. And the reason why is that I thought I had the misconception that I was going to be able to organize when I was still in law school. During my first semester, I got a wake-up call, and I had to study all the time, right? So that didn't go very far. But as soon as I got out of law school, I became very active with the National Lawyers Guild and active with the Madla Mexican Bar Association. I sort of veered off and made my career with the National Lawyers Guild, because these people in the National Lawyers Guild represented to me the same struggle that I was involved with, only they were doing it with a law license. And they were going in and they were defending people in factory raids, our immigration component. We were defending the Palestinian students. We were defending Central American refugees. We had a pro bono panel. We represented over 600 people. We went in. Whenever we had these raids and stuff, there would be the guild attorneys that would respond to them. And one of my mentors that sort of guided me in this direction is here today. Miss Barbara Honig is here. And Barbara, you don't have to stand. I don't mean to embarrass you. But Barbara got me started and told me, I was green out of law school, and green out of law school, this is what you got to do. And you got to look at the judge. You can't look the other way, and all this other kind of stuff. She's my mentor, and she's always close to my heart. And so anyway, that's my involvement. I'm going to get into my particular area in just a second, but I want to turn it over to my wife at this time.
Thank you all for being here. I want to say, first of all, the first time Gilbert and I were invited to come in to see the exhibition, it wasn't like you see it now. It was like some bare walls, like dust on the floor, all of this. It was a work in progress. And curator, Amy Scott, we had barely met her that day. As soon as I walked in the front entrance, I started shaking. I became very emotional, and I started crying, because this was such a large part of our life. And it was very, I don't regret a minute of it, but I can say it was difficult. It was difficult, and there was a lot of sacrifice, not only by me and my husband, but by so many people. And so I had to excuse myself. And Gilbert and I sat and spoke with Amy about our feelings, about how grateful we were that the Getty was sponsoring this in the first place, because we could never have done this on our own, and how meaningful this whole period of time was for us, and still is. So I just wanted to say that. So this is a photographic history of the Chicano movement. And as you can see, if those of you who walked through already, it informs, visualizes, clarifies, and examines the people, the marches, the protests, the forums, the police violence. And what struck me about it in the final layout was the multi-generational movement it was, from very young children to very old people, and everything in between. This was not a youth movement. This was a movement of families. And it is the who, what, where, when of journalism, if you take your time to understand what's here. The art, the symbols, the posters, the movement of the people in the demonstrations. It defines the politics, the emotions, the culture, the language, and spirituality that was the Chicano movement.